Hey guys, it's Danielle over at DIYDanielle.com. I got my friend Goofy back here, and I wanted to talk a little bit about wire fencing and some of the different types you can get. I'm going to show you a few different ones. I don't own any chicken wire fencing, so I can't show you that. However, I'm going to show you a couple different types of fencing you can purchase and talk about some of the downfalls of some of them. I will say that as a homesteader, it's sort of a rite of passage to buy the wrong kind of fencing and end up wasting money or needing to shift it around later. It's better to buy the right thing for the right animal or for the right use, get it in the right spot, get it on correctly, and not have to do it again. We've redone our goat fencing so many times, and I'm going to show you what we got. So this is the first one I'm going to show you. This is welded wire fence. We've got it on T-posts. The nice thing about the T-posts is I did get a bunch used. These ones were new. These are pretty tall. I think they're 5 feet. And as you can see, they have like little bumps. And you can attach them using, actually I have metal brackets that are really what you're supposed to use. However, I also have been using zip ties, like heavy duty zip ties, not regular, just thin ones. Heavy duty zip ties work pretty well. So the downfall of welded wire fencing, which is a little cheaper, which is nice. The downfall is that if you have large animals like goats, even though they aren't that large, but they're large enough to do some damage to the fencing. So as you could see, some of our fencing has started to come undone. So when they make this type of fence, instead of wrapping it around like you would woven, I believe, they weld it together. And the welding, as you can see, this wire is always on top of the vertical wires, so there's no weaving involved. Weaving would go in and out, I think. I don't know. We'll go look at it and I'll show you what the other one looks like. So this did not cost me a small amount, but it cost me a lot less than the woven wire that I got for my garden, which was a later purchase, which I bought because I knew this wasn't working, and I was like, well, at some point, if I need to take this down and replace it, I'll just take the garden fence and swap them out, which I really don't want to do because putting up the goat fencing is a pain in the butt. We have had to fix it so many times for them knocking down posts. I might break my husband if I tell him that we're going to pull down the fencing again, so we haven't done it. However, again, as you can see, this piece right here is loose, and it's like that in a couple areas. Now mine cannot get through that gap yet. However, if they keep hitting that over and over again, that might happen. And here's a better look at what happened, and it just unwelded, came off, and you can see where my goat's been scratching herself on here. So your second option for fencing, and this is, or wire fencing, is these cattle panels, and I don't have any, but this gives you kind of a good idea. This is just my gate, but they kind of are just stiff panels that are like this, and a lot of people like using them. The only issue with them is they are a little expensive, and they're big, so they don't just transport in a roll like other types of fencing. So you have to be able to consider how you're going to get it back to your home, or if they offer delivery. Oh, he's so happy. Alrighty, so you can see here's some more woven wire fencing here. That's looking pretty sketchy. This right here is no climb woven horse wire fencing. So actually, I'm looking at this, I want to see. So as you can see, the connections, there's a wire piece that wraps around. Let's see. There's a wire. Let's see if it'll. Okay, my camera will not zoom. There it goes. Won't really focus on there, but as you can see, it wraps around. So you've got a little bit more sturdy. This is pretty. This is a pretty tough wire here at the top, and as you can see, it's just a whole lot sturdier than the other stuff we have. I should have used this in the goat area and saved myself a ton of time. However, I want to say this is a 100-foot roll. It was wicked heavy because it is a heavier duty wire fence. It is very heavy. They loaded it into my back of my minivan using one of those trucks. What are they called? A forklift, I think. And they got it in there, and then when we got home, I had a hard time getting it out, and I think my husband's finally got it out, but it ended up scraping up the back of our car a little bit, which was unfortunate. So again, this is a transportation issue, but it is a great fencing. Very hard to roll out. However, it looks a lot nicer. Although, in fairness, we put this up way after we did the goat fencing. We had a lot of practice putting things on T-posts at that point. But as you can tell, the fencing's just a little bit better. It's put up better. It's a little stiffer, standing up straighter, and more durable. Okay, so here is my duck run. And the one thing you want to consider when you're putting fencing in a chicken area or a duck area is that chicken wire is not a good solution. And the reason is chicken wire is great at keeping rabbits out or chickens in. It is not good at keeping a fox or a raccoon out. So as you can see, we have our welded wire that I used for the top portion. So this is good enough for the top, 4 feet here or whatever. Probably 5 feet actually in some sections. So as you can see, I've got that going all the way up there. That's going to be fine for the top. For the bottom, because you don't want a raccoon or a fox sticking their paws through, because I can stick my hand through that, they can stick their paw through. A lot of times what they'll do if you have it on the bottom and don't have something like hardware cloth on the bottom, they will put their claw through, grab your bird, and pull them through. Now, they may only pull pieces through, but they will get your bird, they will kill it or injure it. So the idea is to keep something a little smaller. And I'm going to show you, I have 2 different welded or hardware cloths. This is a really small squares. I think those are 1/4 of an inch. I kind of like the 1/2 inch more. I think these are 1/2 inch, maybe 1 inch. I don't know. Anyways, I like this one better. I think it's sufficient for what it is. And I think because the squares are a little wider, I feel like the wire is a little stronger. And it might just be the brands here, but I feel like this is kind of flimsy. I'm not saying it wouldn't do the job, but I do prefer this. So again, this is the hardware cloth. And I'm going to walk you around here. Hi, friend. When you're attaching your wire fencing, you are using these poultry staples. You can use heavy-duty staples. However, they probably aren't going to stay as well. And if you get a motivated animal, they can pull them out. So it's just better to do the right one at the beginning. This is a pain. They're a pain in the ass because you have to, they're a pain in the butt because, they're a pain in the butt because you have to hammer them in. Yeah, but it is what it is. You do it once instead of 20 times. So that's better than, anyways, on the ground, a lot of people under their coops will lay, excuse the mess. They want to lay a little bit of an apron to keep animals from digging under. So about 2-4 feet out, you want some wire down. I could have used hardware cloth. A lot of people will just do 2 feet of hardware cloth and then bend it at the bottom to keep like 2 feet on the ground. Instead of that, I buried this stuff because I had a lot of excess from taking down fencing on this property. As you can see, I've got it bent up here. So it goes up. I've got it nailed in pretty much with these, and then it bends under here. And the nice thing about that, and the reason I did that, is because it's cheaper. Well, in this case, it was free. And it'll still keep a predator from digging under. The main purpose of this is to keep them from breaching through somewhere where it's easy to grab your bird. And again, the birds, ducks and chickens aren't super smart. They're gonna hang out right here. They're not going to be like, hey, a predator could get me. They're not necessarily going to be smart enough to do that. So just to protect your animals, it's better to get the right fencing. And I know some of these are really expensive. You're going to look at it and be like, oh my gosh, maybe I should go with the cheaper one. However, if you lose an entire group, all of your poultry in one day, it's costing you a lot more than the difference between some of these fencing types. So basically what this boils down to is it's always good to get the cheapest option that works for your needs. However, generally, You just need to think it through. So if I'm fencing my garden and all I have to keep out is rabbits, I would use chicken wire. It's cheap, it's easy to put up, it's lightweight, or it's lightweight compared to some of these. No problem. Welded wire, great. If I was doing this again for my goat area, I'm going to use electric, which I actually bought some goat fencing that's electric to try out in some other areas. But I would buy that, or I would buy the no climb. Now, another option you can do is if you have large animals and you want to use welded wire so you could save money, you can use an electric, like a line of electric on the top or on the side. So for my goat area, if I had run, see, the problem is they're trying to itch against the fencing. I swear they're like velociraptors. They're like testing their cage here. So if they are rubbing against this, my solution is to run an electric wire on the inside around where they are scratching themselves or trying to dig under. If you run a wire there, they're going to get zapped when they get in there. They'll be fine, assuming you use the right amount. Don't supercharge it. I don't know anything about electric. They'll get zapped, and they won't do that again, which is fine. When I put this in, I was not planning on that. They've already kind of ruined some of this areas of the fence. So again, we'll probably end up having to replace it at some point. Don't tell my husband. He doesn't watch my YouTube channel, so we're good. So nobody sent him a message. Anyways, I hope this was helpful to some of you. Make sure you get the right fencing. It's really important. And I hope this keeps you from wasting money like I have. All right, thanks so much. Have a good day. Bye.